Welcome back to XRP Economic Radar, your definitive source for the intersection of institutional finance and the digital asset economy. As we move into this weekend's market watch, a profound shift is occurring in how the global financial community views XRP, moving away from simple price speculation and toward a structural repricing that makes the $5 milestone look less like a dream and more like a mathematical inevitability. For years, the community has discussed these high valuation targets in the context of what if, but the data coming across our radar today suggests the conversation has fundamentally changed. We are no longer just looking at a chart, we are looking at the awakening of a massive liquidity machine that is finally being integrated into the plumbing of the global financial system. If you have been following the Ripple ecosystem closely, you know that the underlying infrastructure has been quietly expanding for years, and now the market is beginning to wake up to what that truly means for the value of the XRP token itself. The research coming out of the on-chain analytics platform RippleXity highlights a crucial transition in investor psychology that we need to unpack because it changes everything about how you should view your portfolio. The market is finally moving past the era of viewing XRP solely through the lens of retail hype and is instead reassessing its true value based on institutional products and liquidity infrastructure. This isn't just about a green candle on a screen, it is about a fundamental repricing story where XRP is being recognized as the primary asset for real-world utility and cross-border settlement. To understand how we get to that $5 mark, we have to look at this journey as a series of psychological and technical zones rather than a single straight-line move. This staged approach is exactly how institutional capital enters a market, and understanding these phases will give you the clarity needed to navigate the volatility that often precedes a massive breakout. The first major hurdle on this journey is what analysts are calling the reclaim zone, a critical area where XRP must convincingly shatter the low dollar range that has kept it suppressed for so long. For a significant period, XRP has been range-bound, leading many traders to believe that every small rally is just a temporary spike that will eventually fade. However, a sustained and powerful move above the $2 level would act as a psychological sledgehammer to that narrative. Breaking through $2 would force the broader market to reconsider the asset's momentum, and would likely trigger a massive influx of sidelined investors who have been waiting for a clear signal of strength before jumping back in. This reclaim zone is about establishing a new floor and proving to the world that the days of suppressed price action are officially a thing of the past. Once we move past that initial recovery, we enter the historic pressure zone, which is centered around the previous all-time high of approximately $3.65. This area is arguably one of the most significant psychological barriers in any asset's history, because it represents the line between a recovery and true price discovery. Think about it this way. When an asset is below its old highs, the mainstream media and retail investors are constantly asking if it can ever return to its former glory. But the moment that old high is breached, the entire narrative flips on its head. People stop asking if it can recover and start asking how high it can actually go. This shift in sentiment creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of bullish momentum, as the fear of missing out, or FOMO, begins to take hold of even the most skeptical market participants. Beyond the old highs lies what we call the institutional expansion zone, and this is where the $5 thesis really gains its backbone. In this phase, XRP is no longer being valued as just another cryptocurrency in a crowded market. It is being valued as a vital settlement and liquidity asset connected to a global, multi-trillion-dollar financial ecosystem. We are seeing this take shape right now through the expansion of derivatives markets, the increasing accessibility of XRP through potential ETF structures, and the massive growth of the XRP ledger's utility. Every new institutional product and every new partnership adds another layer of fundamental value that supports a higher price floor. It is this transition from speculative retail trading to institutional utility that provides the structural support needed to sustain a $5 valuation and beyond, making it a credible target based on infrastructure rather than just hope. One of the biggest drivers within this institutional zone is the introduction and integration of Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin and the growing adoption of the XRP ledger. The ledger today is a far more sophisticated beast than it was during the last bull run, now offering decentralized trading, automated market-making capabilities, and a rapidly expanding liquidity network. When you combine these technical advancements with the increasing flow of institutional capital, you realize that the ecosystem is considerably stronger than it has ever been in previous cycles. This evolution is the core of the repricing story we often talk about here on XRP Economic Radar. The asset is being reevaluated because the network it powers has become an essential piece of modern financial infrastructure. And as the market recognizes this, the price must eventually reflect that reality. As the fundamental value becomes clear, we inevitably move into what analysts describe as the Mania Zone. This is a phase seen in nearly every historic bull market where investor enthusiasm begins to accelerate at an exponential rate. During this period, capital doesn't just trickle into the market, it floods in, and the narratives surrounding the asset often drive prices much faster than the underlying fundamentals might suggest. For XRP to reach and hold this stage, we would need to see the broader crypto market remain in a strong bullish trend, while XRP secures its spot as one of the lead actors in the cycle's most important narratives. In the mania phase, price targets that once seemed ambitious can be surpassed in a matter of days, as the collective psychology of the market shifts into a state of total conviction. What makes the current path toward $5 so unique compared to previous years is that it is increasingly tied to tangible infrastructure and regulatory clarity. We are no longer relying on rumors or soon to drive the value. We are looking at real-time on-chain developments and the build-out of professional investment channels. The XRP ledger's ability to handle high-volume settlement and provide deep liquidity is being tested and proven in real-world scenarios. As these systems go live and scale, the demand for XRP as the bridge between different currencies and assets grows. This is the difference between a speculative bubble and a fundamental repricing. One is built on air, while the other is built on the very foundation of how money moves across borders in the digital age. If the market continues to recognize the technical and institutional evolution of Ripple and the XRP ledger, then reaching a $5 milestone isn't just an ambitious goal, it becomes the next logical step in the asset's ongoing development. We are witnessing the maturation of a digital asset that was designed from day one for this specific purpose. The path is getting clearer, the stages are being set, and the market is finally beginning to pay attention to the bigger story. Whether we are moving through the reclaim zone or pushing into price discovery, the underlying strength of the network remains the most important factor for long-term holders to watch. The road to $5 is paved with utility, and as that utility scales, the price discovery phase promises to be one of the most significant events in the history of the digital asset space. As we wrap up this weekend watch, it is clear that the narrative surrounding XRP is stronger and more grounded in reality than ever before. The transition from a three-stage psychological journey into a full-blown institutional repricing is a development that every investor should be watching closely. This isn't just about one weekend or one rally, it's about the long-term trajectory of an asset that is positioning itself at the center of the future financial system. We will continue to monitor the on-chain data and institutional flows to keep you ahead of the curve. If you found this analysis helpful and want to stay updated on every major move in the XRP ecosystem, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for spending part of your weekend with us here at XRP Economic Radar. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the road to $5, please give the video a like and share it with your fellow XRP holders to help spread the word about this evolving repricing story. We also want to hear from you. What do you think is the biggest factor that will push us through the historic pressure zone? Do you think the institutional expansion will happen faster than the market expects? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. We read every single one and love hearing your perspectives. Stay focused, keep an eye on the radar, and we will see you in the next update.